All right, so this is session 3 of 4, and this is our Hearts of Wulin game. This is a hack, a PBTA hack attempting to emulate such great stories as Fox Volant of Snowy Mountain and Smiling Proud Wanderer and the Condor Heroes and things like that, Chinese wushu TV series, as well as things like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and all of that stuff. So we have Kai Jin, one of our characters. I will move him off stage temporarily. He'll be back next time. We have Stephen joining us for this session, generously filling in. And then we also have, towards the end of the session, we'll figure out where Dan Yu Zhao is going, whether he has a move off to proud adventure or a tragic death. So we'll see how that works. But what I'm going to start out with is I want to have the existing characters give their 1-minute pitch on themselves, and then I'm going to check in with our new character, Yan Liu, Silver Phoenix. Just a couple of things. If you're watching this is the first one. This is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. We are using the X card as a safety tool. And I'm very bad at pronouncing Chinese. So all of these things are apologies in some way. But let's go ahead and go through. Sherry, can you tell us, I'm going to work across the character sheet here, about Zenai?
Yes. Zenai is an accomplished martial artist in improvisational weapons, but she hides that and simply acts like a wandering student to, let's see here, well, it was Kaijin or something. I'm not sure. Anyway, she's someone's student. Everyone's very vague on it. But that is only her story. She had to leave home, you see. It's a tragic tale. She was better than her older brother at the family's martial arts style. And so when the time came for the two of them to test into who would handle the dojo, Janai chose to run away because of her sibling piety. She could not have her brother be humiliated. And so she has taken up a life as a thief for good, and she will steal from the rich and the unrighteous and give to the poor. And that is her story.
Excellent, and we'll come back to check on entanglements, which one you want to highlight, and if there are any changes to those, we'll do that when everybody is set. You got a new move last time, didn't you?
Yes, I think come drink with me. We have established that Janai likes the plum wine.
Okay.
So
that is perfect. Next, our tragic heroine, Ren Shu. Please tell us about Glass Orchid.
So Ren Shu is a long-time, past life, so long ago, former member of the 100 Ghosts Society, an unfortunate semi-mystical assassin group. Faction, actually, I believe. I don't know, whatever their name is. Right. I'm not even a part of them. I don't remember. But I was raised in it by my family and left at sort of the coming of age ritual killing and the horror of it all. I've dedicated my life to calmness and control, and I work with or I'm part of the Ox Pilgrim Escort Society now. I work to do good in the world, but unfortunately no one else seems to remember that. They just seem to remember that tiny period of most of my adult life that was, part of the 100 Ghost Society. Anyways, things have been rough here at this washing the hands ceremony up until the point where I got tied up in one or more complicated plots that are going on here. Had a series of dead bodies dropped into my arms, one comedically, one very, very tragically and unexpectedly. There was a bloody confrontation with Metal Viper that ended in Ren Shu sort of being emotionally broken and unable to continue with things. Her style revolves around paper and origami and making sort of improvised and unexpectedly sharp and hard weapons out of paper. And other weird
Excellent.
stuff.
And you picked up a new move last time.
Yes, which I did very much want to highlight. It's the promise, which is if you attempt to keep someone from dying in your presence, roll, and there's some semi-mystical, semi-coma things that might go on there. So I know that we had a lot of dead bodies drop last time, and sometimes that can lead to an impulse of like, oh, well, we've had that. We should do other things now. I would like more dead bodies. Thank you.
Okay. I can drop the bodies to the floor for you if that's what you would like. Yes, in fact, yes. I've thought about that. Okay. Thank you, and we'll come back to your entanglements because I know you have at least one major change that we want to make, and we want to talk about that. Danyu Zhao, a wielder of the Seventh Eagle Talon.
Yeah, his family was killed by the Blade Dogs, which is another evil society. And he took up a sword to defeat them, but has been entangled with the Oxbelly Escort Society bullshit, so he has to deal with that first. And apparently his sister is with the 100 Ghosts now, so he has to deal with that as well. So
excellent. And you got a new one last time, right?
Oh yeah, I got hidden daggers or flying daggers. Sorry.
And that's a lovely one for popping into people's presence.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So with all that in mind, Stephen, can you tell us about Silver Phoenix?
All right. Yanlu is the daughter of a famous physician named Gold Phoenix. And a few months ago, he went to treat a sick merchant, and he discovered that the merchant was actually being poisoned by someone in the 100 Ghosts faction. And he brought the merchant into his own house to protect him. He was visited by an emissary from the 100 Ghost faction, someone named Dragon Nail Sage, who explained that what the merchant had might be very contagious, and it would be best for his health if he did not continue treating this patient. And Gold Phoenix defied the 100 Ghosts, and the next evening, both he and his patient were murdered. So, Lu Yan.
I'm gonna sidebar that for just one second, and if we do the flashback from that, we're going to assume that that's the moment that maybe broke Dragon Nail Sage, though you don't know that forced her to have a change of heart after killing this noted physician.
Okay, yeah. So after that, Yanlu naturally wanted to go out and seek revenge against the 100 Ghosts, but her mother absolutely forbade this. This is just not something a woman could do. It's not something. She refused to that her only daughter put herself into danger. So Yanlu has been disguising herself as the Silver Phoenix in order to seek revenge as the 100 Ghosts. And Silver Phoenix, in appearance, he's a clean-shaven young man. He wears coarse brown robes, carries a staff, and according to all eyewitnesses, he's at least a couple inches taller than Yanlu, which, if people saw them side by side, they would be exactly the same height. But she carries herself with so much more confidence as Silver Phoenix that people just cannot recognize her.
So
you're muted.
Tell us about your style.
So my style is the Patient Phoenix style. It's sort of something that she developed herself, observing her father and his students practicing martial arts. It relies heavily on a knowledge of the human anatomy. So it's a very defensive style. She fights with a staff, but when she's really serious, she fights barehanded. and she relies on avoiding blows and then finishing the fight with just one very precise blow that stupefies her opponent by overwhelming his senses.
Nice. Under bonds, it sounds like the group that you have the most sort of connection with is actually going to be the 100 Ghost faction.
Right.
So we can put that there.
Right.
We'll come back to the PC thing in a moment. Let's talk about your entanglements.
Okay.
What do we want to do with those? We definitely want to make at least 1 or 2 connections to the PCs here, and at least one that you know personally.
All right. I'm going to say that Yanlu was at the party which Dragon Nail Sage attended as part of Renshu's entourage, and she recognized her. She went to change into Silver Phoenix and confront her, but by the time she got back, Dragon Nail Sage was gone. But she made some inquiries and found out that Dragon Nail Sage had been invited there through Renshu, and so she is very suspicious of Renshu currently.
Okay. So you suspect Renshu of evil?
Yes.
Because of her connection to Dragon Nail Sage, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. That
Everyone
seems
keeps focusing on the past.
all right. That seems fair. What else do we want for your entanglements? What's your romantic entanglement?
Well, unless anybody has an NPC to suggest, I'm going to say that my character is romantically entangled with one of my father's former disciples.
Okay.
Say Xu Ying. And my mother, actually a couple months after my father died, she announced that the new leader of the school would be whoever married her daughter Yanlu. She did this without consulting Yanlu.
Okay.
So
mother promised you, but you're in love with another figure.
well, no, not exactly.
Okay.
When I heard this, I was not ready to marry. I thought, I mean, I'm just obsessed with avenging my father's death, and even though I kind of like the Xu Ying, I haven't really realized that I like him that much.
Okay.
So,
well, I want to put that in the form of an entanglement.
Right.
So we need
Right.
to have 2 characters, and I want to have you phrase that out here.
Okay. So what happened was that Silver Phoenix went in front of the Phoenix school, and he announced that when he married, the bride would be Yanlu.
Okay. So that
Gold Phoenix's former disciples, they consider Silver Phoenix to be this complete upstart with no right to the name, and now he has offended all of them. And
okay.
And Xu Yang, he is attracted to Yanlu, but he's afraid to speak to her. And Silver Phoenix has made his acquaintance, and she as Silver Phoenix, she is beginning to fall in love with him, but she can't speak to him as Silver Phoenix.
Okay. Can you give me that in a 1-sentence version?
That's Xu Ying loves Yanlu, but is too shy to speak to her, and Silver Phoenix greatly admires Xu Ying, but can't reveal her identity.
All right. Okay, that seems fair because you're reading yourself as two different characters there, so that seems fair. Can we get a third entanglement here? One connected to one of the other PCs, please.
I'm going to say that I saw the Silkfoot Fox break into someone's house one time, and there was a hue and cry raised, and I helped her get away. For some reason, I instinctively trusted her. So when Magister Gao showed up, I said, "Quick!" She ran this way, and I led him to the gate where she had entered, which was still unlocked. And it's like, and I just read the chase in completely the wrong direction.
Okay, so I saw Silkfoot. Foot incorrectly. Fox, theft, but aided her. And if it's okay, can I have his assistant be suspicious of you?
That's fine. That's perfect.
Okay. Sure, what's Magister Gao's assistant's name again?
Su Wei. It's in the top entanglement on my sheet.
Okay. So that seems cool. That gives us 3. I'm going to come back to you and talk about highlighting here in just a second. And you've taken the Scholar move, the 5 deadly venoms, and you've taken the promise, which we talked about that Patrick has, but you felt that because of your physician background, you really wanted to stick with that.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Are you cool with that, Patrick? I just want to check in on that. Okay.
Yeah. That works for me.
Okay. So let's come back to entanglements. Let's talk with Zenai. Zenai, which entanglement do you want to highlight today? And are there any of these entanglements that you want to change up a little?
Oh, let's see here. Let's see here. I think that I want to highlight that I love Su Wei,
Okay.
but his master, Magistrate Gao, is hunting the Silkfoot Fox, because I think that we're going to have a thing where she very much needs to be having Magistrate Gao solve this mystery without endangering him. So she's going to have to dance around him a good deal.
Right, and you don't want to, once again, demonstrate your martial skills in front of Magister Gao or Su Wei.
Yes.
Okay, that seems cool to me. And any changes on any of those that you've got there? Any rephrasings? Anything you want to change?
I probably will have to rephrase the one with Kaijin, but I haven't decided how, and I think that's more relevant as he comes back.
Okay, that seems cool to me. Ren, are you there, Patrick? He'll be right back. Okay, good.
Sorry
so
about
no, that's okay. Let's talk about your entanglements. And are there any of those that you wish to change?
So yes, first I just wanted to say I'm sorry I stepped away right as you were starting, Stephen, but I did hear all of that, and it was super good. Let's see. So I did change my Dragonnail Sage entanglement to I made a promise to someone I loved, which is Dragonnail Sage, to aid a rival, which is sort of in quotes there, but still I think fits, which is Dan Yu Zhao. Aid him in finding his missing sister in the 100 Ghosts. And I also added a little bit to the I lost to Metal Viper to increase the affection of Genai. I just added in stuff about that last fight that we saw.
Excellent, excellent. And you saw how much that first fight had kind of pushed him, but he's also been deeply affected by Kaijin's words. And
it's true.
He's headed back. Ooh, what's going to happen to him? Anyway,
wait, Kaijin or Danyu Zhao? Because Danyu was the one who fought him after.
I meant Metal. It was Kaijin that used his move to make him change his heart.
Oh, okay, never mind that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
As far as highlighting, I actually wanted to ask you, Maria. How do you see that storyline with your missing sister? Is that something you actively want to pursue this session, or is that like the next story for Dan Yu?
I'm. I want to. I don't think it will wrap up the Star Stealing Sage this session because we have one more session. Or, well, you guys have one more session, so.
Oh, it can wrap up today. It's PBTA. Anything can happen.
Okay. I guess it's up to you. I'm not sure what I want to do. Right. Like, I want to pursue that because it is the last session that New Zhao is going to be in, but I'm really curious about the Star Stealing Sage plot. So
okay, well, if you wanted to push it forward, then I wanted to highlight that one to back you up. But if you didn't want to focus on it, then I would just have it there as an unhighlighted one, so we could sort of brush across it.
Keep in mind, as a GM, if you highlight something, I'm going to push to have it get on the table. That doesn't necessarily mean you guys leave, but that I will work to get it onto the table for you.
And there's nothing to keep his sister from being here.
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Everyone is here.
This is your last one, so if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And it does add more complications with the 100 Ghosts storyline, so it's not entirely selfless either.
Okay, that makes sense.
Excellent. I like that. All right, Daniel Zhao, any changes you want to make to those, any of your entanglements?
I kind of want to change the one with Renshu, but I'm not sure yet of what the change will be.
Okay.
I want to highlight the one where I swore to Fenai to protect Zenai, who would be deeply offended if she knew.
Okay.
Because
All right.
because Zenai knows stuff, so she's going to be involved in this.
Yeah, she discovered this stuff. She's going to put herself in danger.
Yeah.
And, she's not that great a martial artist, so you'll have to save her.
I know, right?
Awesome. And then Silver Phoenix, which of these three entanglements that we've phrased for you do you want to highlight?
I kind of like the one where Magistrate Gao's assistant Sue is suspicious of me. Okay.
All right. That doubles up on some stuff, so I like it very much. All right. So we're set. What I want to do here is I want to take an early 2-minute break to get myself a little more coffee. Because I jumped on a little early. And then we're going to get rolling, and I'm going to start the scenes out with our three compadres. I'm going to move Kai-Jin off, and we'll explain how that goes. And after we've had a scene with you guys, then we'll come and introduce Silver Phoenix, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is Tyler working and then coming back home to run Changeling?
Yeah, Sunday is his brunch day at work, so he works a little earlier.
All right. So, to frame where we are from last time, we are at a sort of a. Originally, we were at a back alley apartment where our of course. Because it was on screen, it would have been beautifully appointed and didn't look like a hovel at all. Where Renshu had stored away Dragon Nail Sage, and had, of course, where she had died. And outside of that, you had fought against guardsmen of the Ox Pilgrim Escort Bureau, the Mooks, and they had fallen back. They had fled back. They're not convinced, of course, of Renshu's innocence or anything, but they know that their leader, fell back. And Metal Viper fought and was bested, but then words were spoken to him, deep, truthful words, and he, bit his knuckle and thought about things and left. So he has gone off to do something. And it's shortly after that, as that is wrapped up, that Zenai arrived to tell you what she had learned of the Star-Sealing Sage and his role in all of this. How could this be? This is crazy. So I assume we take up somewhere in classic all of these martial arts movie, when someone dies, a coffin is brought. You go to the coffin maker and a coffin is brought. So we probably have that Dragon Nail Sage has been placed into one of the fancy coffins, and that has been taken care of. But where are we, Patrick, when we come back to the scene with the four of you, including Kai Jin, talking? Where are we at?
Not sure. It's got to be somewhere like visually stunning, because it doesn't happen there unless it's visually stunning. So if we buried her and it was sort of, I think it definitely got around who she was. Then we couldn't bury her anywhere normal. So it's going to be like a nearby mountaintop several thousand feet up in the air that we've just, casually climbed up with a coffin.
Exactly. And of course, just as the sun is rising, so we get the dawning light there on top of that. And of course, because in any of these movies, travels take no time, Kai Jin will turn to you and he will say, I must return now and get my brother out of there. And he turns and kind of looks at Zenai, and there are other matters I must deal with my family, but my brother is the senior of my household, so I must go and do that. And he heads off stage right.
There's a horse waiting for him here at the top of this mountain.
Okay, yeah. You don't know how it got up there, but he rides off on the horse. So it's the three of you there. There is the mound of dirt that indicates to us that Dragon Nail Sage has been buried in this holy place with the beautiful orange and red sunlight streaming down. And now you three have to decide how you wish to proceed. Zenai, what do you say to the group?
She sort of says, what will we do about Star-Stealing Sage? He has murdered his own son in order... She sort of says, I just don't understand what argument he has with you, Renshu.
I I don't know. It's probably the same argument that everyone else has with me, Zhenai. Oh, or I'm sorry, should I get used to calling you Jinjing now?
What? She looks completely mystified. She goes, "Oh wait, no. I mean, I don't know." And she sort of stops. She kind of stops and Daniel, sorry.
Yeah, it is an entanglement, he loves Senai, but I knew about this entanglement previously. He's gonna say, not now. We have to deal with the star-stealing sage. We have to focus on that.
Yes, there are so many good reasons not to talk about things like this, not to even bring them up or mention them ever to anyone, no matter how close they are to you.
Well, it's just I have an idea, but we got to get out of this first, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think Renshu will like storm off, robe billowing in the wind up here, and then we just sort of like cut mid conversation to another scene.
Yeah, you're back
another
in town.
background.
Yeah, you guys have arrived back at the town.
All right.
Even though the conversation has only moved forward like a minute.
And she goes, we have to get him to incriminate himself. He has to confess.
Do you have any ideas on how to do that?
Ghosts.
I fear much of our problem has come from ghosts. What do you mean exactly?
Well,
I see, I think. Make him believe that he sees the ghost of his own son. You can do that, Renshu, right?
Yes. And if he's responsible for everything that's gone on here, that's the least of what he deserves.
it's just we also have to make sure that there are witnesses. I mean, we already know. It's everyone else who doesn't.
Well, you have that hapless detective following you around all the time. And of course
Magistrate Gao is an accomplished detective.
Yes, well,
and known for his ability to track down and solve crimes. He's just had a bad run with the Silkfoot Fox, that's all.
Well, that's rather the point, though, isn't it? He and his moon-eyed, lovely assistant, they seem obsessed with you and have a great reputation for solving many crimes along the way.
And she goes, obsessed with me? No, it's just that, well, they like plum wine too, so it's okay.
You seem to know a lot of people who enjoy plum wine.
Who doesn't love it?
It's a little true.
Let me cut back from that convo, and we'll come back to you in a bit. I want to frame up where we have Silver Phoenix. Let me set a little bit of the stage, if you don't mind, Stephen, and then I'm going to ask you what you're doing. So last night there was the murder of the son of Star-Stealing Sage, this senior person in the Ox Pilgrim Escort Bureau. You were there. You saw Dragon Nail Sage in the midst of all of this, but then it got chaotic, and people were running pell-mell, and you heard that Renshu had been spotted carrying a body, and you were trying to figure out what's gone on. And that kept you from essentially pursuing your investigations as you would have wished. But you would have seen two sort of key things. One is that, of course, Magistrate Gao is there, and his assistant is eyeing you very suspiciously, has perhaps been following at your heels throughout this. Magistrate Gao is clearly investigating the murder, and Su Wei is watching you. But you would have seen a group of fighters from the Ox Pilgrim Escort Bureau return. They have been sent out to find Renshu. They return chagrined and downcast, and they're kind of looking at their feet. And you would have seen Metal Viper, who you know as a senior person of the Ox Pilgrim Escort Bureau. Of the Vile Rain clan, Vile Rain cult. He's a senior righteous warrior. He's returned. He looks a little worse for wear, and you see he's kind of pacing around and looks upset. And he's trying to get an audience with the Star-Stealing Sage. So let's come to you, Silver Phoenix. What do you want to do?
Right now, I want to find Dragon Nail Sage, and if I can't find Dragon Nail Sage, I want to find Renshu, because I figure Renshu knows where Dragon Nail Sage is.
Okay. So you will ask some of these people about that, about what went on, about this person that you saw, and one of the people there, one of the essentially warriors, says, the woman who was a servant here last night, that was the disguise that Sage was having. She goes, oh, when we came across Renshu and the others, that woman was dead.
Dead? Who killed her?
We assume Renshu. She's a vile murderer.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I can understand why.
There will be an interruption at that point, and Metal Viper steps forward and says, we do not know any of that beyond a shadow of a doubt. And the warriors all kind of back away from him. Who are you?
I am the Silver Phoenix.
I have heard of you.
And you. Your reputation is excellent.
It is good to hear. There is much afoot here we do not understand.
Then certainly we should make inquiries.
Yes, I'm going to speak to someone about this. But I would not assume that Renshu is the killer.
I respect your opinion, yes. But surely there can be no harm if he is sought for questioning. I would be very interested in hearing his story.
Look for Renshu in the city. I suspect that she has matters to deal with her friend. There are other righteous warriors who accompany her. Look for them. At least one of them, Dainyu Zhao, is not one given to concealing himself, so he may be the easiest one to find.
I've heard of him. Thank you for your counsel.
And he will depart, and you will see one of the servants come to him and kind of touch him on the shoulder, and he goes in for an audience with Star-Stealing Sage.
Okay.
Do you want to? What do you want to do?
I will follow his advice. I'll head into the city, and I'll look for Dainyu or Renshu.
All right. To get people together, Dainyu, when Silver Phoenix finds you and your compatriots, where are you?
I think if it's okay with everyone, we're making preparations for like the whole Star-Stealing Sage thing, and trying to make him see his own the fault of his ways.
So maybe you're at in the shadowy corner upstairs of one of these inns, kind of plotting out where you need to get to and who you need to talk to.
Yeah.
And just to play into one of the tropes that you talked about at the beginning, Lowell, of like anything can act as a disguise. I think what we see Renshu in is that bright red dress that I have up as a reference for Dragon Nail Sage. It's like skin tight, bright red silk, sort of shiny, totally different than anything Renshu would be in. It's I think we see just a brief flashback in Renshu's eyes of the first time that she met a sort of emotionally broken Dragon Nail Sage was wearing this dress. And she's got like a red paper parasol that's always just in the way of the camera, so you can only see about half of her face. And she's got like bright red silks tied through her hair. So it's obviously totally not the same person at all.
Do you think that Silver Phoenix would recognize that dress?
Oh God. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Also, I was thinking maybe using flying daggers right here to summon Zhang, the second son, since we know Zenai overheard the conversation with him and started stealing Sage. It would make sense for us to contact him.
Okay, so I'm going to set this up. So the three of you are there. You're the most obvious one, Danyu. We have right now Ren looking more like Dragon Nail Sage. And then we have Zenai. Let's say in another part of the tavern, you've come here because you want to keep an eye on Zeng. So so he's there and he is drinking. He's clearly snuck away from the household and he is drinking. So there's an opportunity here. And as you're discussing the plans and seeing that, that's when Silver Phoenix, you come up and you see Danyu, and you see someone who looks like Dragon Nail Sage seated across from him. What do you do?
I leap up there. I land on the table, but between them, I point my staff at Dragon Nail Sage and I say, "Dragon Nail Sage, I accuse you of the murder of Gold Phoenix."
The cups go flying. People start scurrying out of the inn. Zeng doesn't notice because he's deep in the wine. He's got the third bottle jug that he's drinking. So you land. Staff is pointed at you. Let me start with Danyu, because we kind of had you as the key of the scene. I'm assuming that Ren is startled. What do you do, Danyu?
That is not Dragon Nail Sage. Look at her. That's Renshu.
And I do think that I will jump up, and then as I jump up, I will inadvertently knock the table over. And so, I mean, not inadvertently, but inadvertently, it will appear that I have inadvertently knocked the table over, and just to sort of, how should we say, take the advantage away from from Silver Phoenix.
Right. I mean, I land on my feet.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that definitely doesn't look like Dragon Nail Sage. It does look more like Ren. Well, but she's in disguise, so you can't tell.
I think in the chaos there of the table, like somehow the parasol still stays in camera shot, as Renshu is like falling to the ground, and then she just slowly sort of pulls it to the side, and I think as the top half of her face is revealed, suddenly she's very clearly not Dragon Nail Sage. She looks up and says, that name brings me great pain, and I wear this in honor of it. Who are you that you would throw it around like that?
I am one who honored the venerable master Gold Phoenix and wishes to bring his killer to justice. If you are not Dragon Nail Sage, then you at least know where she is. Surrender her to justice or face my wrath.
If you seek the sage, then go find yourself the tallest mountain and climb to its top. If you seek justice, no, take it up with the gods of death.
You say she is killed?
In my arms, I still can't wash the blood of her off of me.
And you sheltered her?
I sought to change her. I sought to give her a place where she could grow into something new and beautiful out of the horror and death that had come before.
Did you know of her crimes?
Do you know of mine? I seek to change the world, not to wallow in its dirty past.
And yet, if those who commit murder are not held to account for it, what will become of China?
What is this murder to you? Some lowly guardsman? Why do you care about the Golden Phoenix so much?
That is none of your concern.
Then it seems my reasons are none of yours.
Let me cut here. We've got two other people in the scene. I want to get the reaction of either Danyu or Zheng Ai as this kind of exchange goes back and forth here.
I'm okay. So Silver Phoenix seems dangerous. I'm trying to get Zenai out of the scene in a stealthy manner.
Okay. Danyu is trying to move you out of here.
Okay, and she's kind of going, what? Renshu didn't do anything? And then, she's kind of getting pushed away, and I think,
And meanwhile, I'm also looking at Zhang to make sure he's not in any trouble.
Sure.
And I think that essentially, she goes, you need to watch out for Renshu. I'll watch Zhang. And she'll say that to Danny Yu. And essentially, she'll go down and sit down with Zhang.
And start drinking with him? That sounds like a plan. All right.
Let's cut back to Silver Phoenix and Renshu. That sort of gasp of breath, that sort of pause in the standoff there.
Renshu, if it were not for Metal Viper's good opinion of you, I would strike you down now. But instead, I offer you the honorable choice. Go to Magistrate Gao, confess your role and all that has happened, tell your story, clear yourself.
Or
fight me now.
I'm gonna just stand up, walk up to them, and walk up to Silver Phoenix and say, "There's nothing to confess."
If he is truly innocent, then go to the magistrate and tell his story. That is the only offer I will make him.
She.
Make her. Sorry.
Danyu, I thank you, but if nothing else, this dress proves that I am not completely innocent of things that have gone on here.
I actually want to pause here, but I do want your reaction. But I think actually that you're doing hearts and minds, Silver Phoenix, putting pressure on a PC. So let's go ahead and resolve that move if we could.
Ren or Danny?
I think he's putting it on Ren first.
Okay.
And let's frame it that way. I think if that's okay, does that seem reasonable to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the role for your party. I'll put that in the chat there.
And then I don't know if the two are going to overlap, but I almost feel like somewhere in this conversation should have hit a inner conflict sort of thing. Kept taking entanglements there.
All right. I'm probably going to follow that up. I'm going to roll that out from there. Steven, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do is you pick a stat that you want to roll with that you think is appropriate, and then we'll have you roll that with hearts and minds.
Okay. I feel like this is maybe a water roll.
Okay.
So, okay, so that's a 6.
All right. So, she is certainly not responding. I mean, you feel maybe a little bit of a crack there for yourself. I'm going to hold on to that move for a second because I'll bring that around in just a moment here. But I'm going to have you mark a condition, mark water for me, okay?
Okay, so I guess I'm uncertain.
Yeah. You thought this would go better,
Right.
Right. Let's have you roll, then, Patrick, have you roll inner conflict.
Okay. So I guess I'll take back the not quite agreeing to go yet, and we'll see how I react based on this. I can't do metal, so I think wood, endurance. I'm just trying to get through today, basically.
Okay.
There's roll for your party, which will load at some point in the near future. There we go. It's an 8.
That's you can flee or mark a condition until you change that up.
I'll mark a condition.
Okay.
So that would be in wood that I rolled.
Yes. As you are talking there, Daniel, you're kind of watching this, and you're standing to kind of defend it, and you think maybe your presence has put Silver Phoenix, off his toes a little bit because he came in very strong, but now you're standing there, and when he presses on Renshu, he's maybe not as forceful. So you're like, okay. It's at that point that you will hear rushing up the stairs. And you will see this group of warriors led by Chang Si come running up clearly to take you all in. What do you want to do?
What is the meaning of this?
Renshu, I was wrong. Take her into custody. He says to you.
Who told you this?
We know this from evidence at the court. Magistrate Gao has sent for her to be brought in.
What evidence?
You are to bring in Renshu.
So I think at that point, because I've got like a combination of overconfident, inflexible, angered through my conditions right now, so she just stands up and says, "You, Chegsi, you would turn against me too? After all I've done for the Ox Pilgrims, after all I've done to prove myself, after I saved you from an assassin's needle just last night?" Sort of blurt out things that no one knew about.
Let's have you roll hearts and minds.
Well, this would definitely be fire.
Okay.
Passion is all over this. Ooh, that's a 12.
Good.
All right. So you call him on that, and you see him flash back to that moment when you touched him, and he felt better after that, and he hesitates and kind of steps back. But you've got all these mooks here who are they're not here to fool around. So let me take a look and ask what Zenai is doing, and then I'm going to look at Danyu and Silver Phoenix and see how you're reacting to this.
Okay, so my thing is I wanted to go down and talk to Zhang.
Okay.
Like, essentially, he doesn't know that she knows that he fingered her to his murdering father. So essentially, she's going to use the "come drink with me" move, essentially to hold him there until he tells her something of worth about Star-Stealing Sage or the situation. So I would like to use a study during
excellent.
that time.
Okay. Let's have you make that roll.
Okay. I would like to have a good roll, but that's when it won't happen. So here we go. Oh, I better declare what I'm using. So I guess I will try with metal, because I do have control, and I'm trying to get him to reflect on the situation. I mean, I know that he can't confess precisely, but let's see what happens. Okay, so that gives me a 12.
Okay. So you get 2 hold.
Okay, so let's see here. So on the basic moves under study, I want to
reveal a detail.
So what?
Reveal a detail, since that's
exactly. Reveal a detail. So essentially, I actually want to ask a question. I want to get a sense of what I would say. Why would someone be so intent on like blaming this on Red Shoe? Because I was there. I know he didn't do it. So I'll ask him that, in that sort of thing of, because he knows that I came and told him that she was set up.
He says, I don't know. My father has been obsessed with this ever since those 2 new servants arrived. And certainly he has spoken about removing Renshu from that since they took over as his personal servants.
2 new servants? And what is their nature then? I'll find out what I can about them.
Okay, so that's your second hold?
I have to now. Now you've get me out there.
So he will say that a few months ago, 2 new servants, a man and a woman, named Min and Lim, arrived. That like clearly his father had awaited them, and they have been sort of in his ears since then. Like clearly they have some influence or some pull, which seems unusual to Zhang. Okay.
Good. Well, I've gotten 2 incredibly important things, and I will leave this in his ear then. And essentially, like, well, how much power do they have over him? Because of course, then he has to. He knows that it killed his oldest brother. So just leave that in there.
More drink.
Okay. And she pats his arm and says, "If you need anything, find us." And she kind of looks up as the mooks run over there again.
Another jug.
Okay. She'll stand up and order it for him, and then sort of come up through the mooks, like pushing them aside.
So you're moving up through the mooks, coming up there. Renshu, you've brought Changxi to a stop, and so there's that hold. But right now, Danyu and a Silver Phoenix, it looks like there's a fight about to break out with these mooks. Danyu, what do you want to do?
Changxi, tell your men to stand down and talk this out, or I will be forced to deal with them.
They're not my men.
Whose men that are they then?
They were sent by the Ox Pilgrims, by the Sage.
The Sage.
And they're coming forward. So
In that case, as soon as
let me cut to Silver Phoenix then. You see your this warrior Danyu kind of turns and starts interrogating Chang Shi. There's a revelation, and then these mooks come pouring forward. What do you want to do, Silver Phoenix?
Renshu, surrender now. There is no need for violence.
So you continue on that line that's kind of been broken a little bit there. Let's cut back to Danyu.
All right. I will engage the mooks then.
Okay.
And hopefully Ren will be able to engage the Silver Phoenix herself.
Okay. So let's have you roll with fight mooks.
All right. That I will roll with, I guess, metal, since that is my style.
Yep.
All right. It says on the... So you can roll with any stat, not
with
just...
fight mooks, you're rolling with your style element.
Okay, because it doesn't specify style element on fight mooks. So
yeah, no, all of the ones intended to be under the fight thing are all style element.
9.
Okay, so you've got a choice to describe how you do so. You don't look awesome, but you do defeat them. So what makes it less than awesome?
The fact that I see Senai among them, and I'm like, what the hell is she doing here?
So you're engaged. You're kind of pushing them back. It's not going quickly. You're worried about Zenai. Chang Shi is still kind of uncertain about what to do. Ren, there's this fight going on with the mooks. Silver Phoenix is still there, kind of confronting you. What do you want to do?
I'm curious about a PC versus PC duel. So
okay.
I'm curious to see what happens if Silver Phoenix pushes that forward, because he's the one that throughout the challenge.
Okay, and I think that Silver Phoenix, Stephen, you are the one that's kind of challenging Ren. So here is how this works. When you challenge another PC, you make them an offer of what you're going to give them if they accept your victory. You can offer unspent XP, particular character actions, burning bonds, changing entanglements. So what would you put on the table? You'll offer it as a single offer to Ren, and she can decide to accept it, in which case she'll carry that out, or not accept it, in which case both of you will mark conditions.
And is this more of an offer from Steven to me, or from Silver Phoenix to Renshu?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. It's from Steven to you.
Okay.
So Steven, what would you offer?
I will. I will change. I will no longer change my entanglement. I'll no longer be suspicious of Renshu if she agrees to go to the magistrates and tell her story.
That's an interesting offer.
That is an interesting offer. As things come to sort of a tenseness, and I think it does get into the preliminaries of a duel. What's your main weapon?
Staff or barehanded.
Okay, perfect. So I think with the staff, I then have the paper parasol there. So it's sort of a trading back and forth of like twisting and deflecting blows. As you're obviously holding back from sort of killing blows, and you're making this demand. I think Renshu gets her parasol. You sort of bust through the paper, but the tines of it twist up your staff, and she plunges it into the ground, locking the two weapons for a moment.
Okay, I drop the staff and I start fighting barehanded.
Well, I was going for a sort of conversation moment there.
Oh, cool.
Okay. I still drop the staff. I mean, and I strike a defensive barehanded stance.
All right. So I back up, look between you and Chang-Si, and say, this fighting amongst righteous people, that's not what I came here for. That's not what I live my life for. You require proof, and I intend to give proof. But this sacred meeting has become a nest of vipers and backstabbing. Tell the Magister to meet me at sundown at another visually striking place. The Shrine of the Winds. At sundown, I will give the proof that I have for conspiracies that have gone on here, and if between the three of you still judge me guilty, I will turn myself over then. But you must give me time to investigate further.
I will trust in your honor.
Awesome.
I will trust in your judgment then.
So this is just as Dan Yu is dealing with the last of these mooks, kicking them down the stairs, pushing them away from Zenai.
Oh no, Zenai is actually like, she was going up, and then when they started to charge, she dropped her wine thing and inadvertently hit one of them on the head, and then it bounced and hit another one, and then when she turned around, she knocked into the other one, and there was a domino effect, and it was just terrible.
And I think they're in the middle of things as they sort of come to an agreement. Renshu will reach under the table, pull up a second perfectly pristine parasol, open it over her head as this like shower of red paper comes down, and sort of stage magician style, when it falls to the ground, she's gone, using my storm step to fly out of here.
Awesome. So Ren is clearly going to go work on some things. You've been told to pass a message on to the magistrate, Silver Phoenix, and you've accepted the victory there. Also, Patrick, you get to mark XP because you opted to lose a conflict. So let me check in with Dan Yu and Zenai. What do you want to do?
I will. I want to tell Dan Yu about the servants, and I probably will say that within the hearing of Silver Phoenix.
What exactly do you say?
I say, Zhang says that his father has been heavily under the influence of two new servants, a Lim and a Min, that arrived just a month ago. And she goes, and of course, he's deep in his cups because he knows what a danger that is to him.
Do I recognize any of those names?
They've been around the household, but they seem incredibly innocuous and unimportant to you.
All right.
She goes, do you know of any way that, I don't know, two people could like have mind control over a righteous warrior?
I will investigate this further. Thank you for your help, but I think it is time for me to take over for the rest of this.
What? She's like, but I want to help. I mean, he's going to try to... Okay.
You've done much good, much righteous work, but it is too dangerous for you to continue with this. What if Star Stealing Sage finds out? He might kill you.
He already plans to kill me.
What?
And she goes, yeah. Zhang told him that I knew that whoever sent him was the murderer. And he said, well, he'll have to take care of me.
All right. I will deal with this. So I get very serious, and I'm like, I will deal with this.
I think I would like to help you deal with that. If you'll let me.
Help me train.
It's just like what?
So that I may face the Star Stealing Sage myself.
Okay. Okay, yes. I will arrange for that. But first we have to find out what the secret of his style is.
Yes, since neither of you have really fought him. Let me cut from you to that planning. Silver Phoenix, you overhear that conversation. You've been told to pass this message on. What do you want to do?
I think I need to go directly to Magistrate Gao.
Okay.
Because, I can't pass this message on through an intermediary.
So we will cut to back at the it just suddenly we cut and you're back at the grounds of the estate, and you are meeting with Magistrate Gao, and his assistant is standing suspiciously, hands on chin, watching you like, there's something up here. I'm not sure what. Like looking at you closely, like, huh. And Magistrate Gao goes, Silver Phoenix, you were I'm glad to see you again. I appreciated your help as we fought that silk-footed fox, though we weren't able to catch her that time, but we came close, and your assistance was much appreciated.
Sorry, though, you just cut out for a while, and I didn't hear that last part.
Oh, okay. He says, we appreciate your assistance when we fought trying to pursue the silk-footed fox, and unfortunately, we were not able to catch her, but we're glad to see a righteous person here in the midst of all this chaos.
Thank you, Magistrate Gao. I have a message from Ren Shu.
Ren Shu, and he and his assistant stand up straight. She needs to come in for her own protection.
Yes, she is reluctant to do so for some reason, but she has agreed to speak with you at the Shrine of the Winds at sundown.
Interesting. And his assistant goes, Magistrate, this looks at you and it goes, this might be some kind of trap, Magistrate. No. I'm certain that Silver Phoenix would not put us in harm's way.
I cannot guarantee Ren Shu's honor, but I feel that she was sincere in this. I do not think it is a trap.
All right. Well, I will have to speak with the sage to make sure that there is no problems with any of this, and we will. I will meet with her. I will make it clear to him that I will be going alone to meet with her.
Yes, and
so
I ask that you tell no one of the location of this meeting.
Let's have you roll hearts and minds.
Okay. And let's see, what stat shall I use? It's not going. Let's. All right. Metal for solidity.
Okay.
Thing. So.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a 12.
All right. You make a good case. I really ought to tell Star Sealing Sage since this involves him, but if you say so, I will tell no one where this meeting will take place.
Yes, I think that would be best.
All right. All right.
I will accompany you and guarantee your safety.
And you will see that that actually gets a reaction from
Sue-Wei.
Sue-Wei, who goes, well, then I must go as well. And Magistrate Gao's like, Silver Phoenix, was I told to come alone?
I think I am sure there will be no problem if your assistant accompanies you.
Yes, says Sue-Wei. I will accompany him. And we'll cut from that scene to Ren Shu. What do you want to do?
So I still like the Haunted by Dead Sons aspect. And if I'm going to pursue my part in that, then I think it's going to come through the Hidden Dragon move, which we sort of used in various states last time, but it does have some actual requirements to it. So before I frame the scene, we'll see what those are. So it says you can build strange devices, say what you wish to create, and the GM will tell you what you need, time, materials, assistance, whatever. Much like the sort of puppet that I made of myself last session, I'd like to make a sort of puppet of him, but it's someone I don't know as intimately as I know myself, and I also want it to appear ghostly and supernatural rather than just standing there and talking. So what do I need to gather?
To do this right, you'll have to go to a paper mannequin shop.
Obviously.
There is this that does appear actually, in fact, in one of the movies I was just watching, where they make it out of bamboo frames and they put paper on it. It was served as this device to study where attack points were. But anyway, so you have to go to one of them because they will have the best kind of thing, the paper and everything that you need and the right colors and such. The other thing you think you're going to need is you're going to need some kind of assistant to, while you are off doing your thing, move it around, Scooby-Doo style. So who do you have that would help you? And this is just you adding something in the fiction.
I gotcha. Let's see. Didn't we have a names thing somewhere? It was on the factions, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's on the far side of the factions.
All right. So I think Steven sort of brought up the idea of like he was part of Rinshu's entourage, and I sort of like this unspoken idea that we are all fairly important coming to this great ceremonial meeting. Like we each have a couple of people with us that just sort of fade into the background, help us travel. So I think it's a girl that like helps me procure new and interesting books and also new kinds of paper, particular kinds of paper. And she's sort of been studying and trying to learn the perfected origami techniques.
So you want me to do what?
Ping. I like ping. Just go down to the local paper mannequin shop here in the center of the Ox Pilgrim territory. They have a renowned paperist. We'll go with that. It's whose materials just can't be beat. I need a freshly made, still pliable mannequin frame and just a short list of particular paper ingredients as she unrolls like a 5-foot long scroll.
And she'll take that. She goes, but you mentioned another part, carrying this around in a graveyard?
A graveyard, a house, maybe a smoky back alley, sort of places with a good ambiance. You'll see on the list there's some phosphorescent paints, and of course you'll need your wire mannequin operating skills at their highest level of perfection. So I need you to focus, calm yourself through the You need to calm yourself. You don't need to bear the weight of these. That's what the paper is for. The paper bears the weight of the world. You simply move the paper around.
All right, let's have you roll, Patrick.
What is this? Hearts and Minds? What am I doing to this poor girl?
This is your hidden dragon move.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Oh, geez.
Fire makes sense since it's creative.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'll go with that. And I now have an even shorter time limit, so I think there is still a passion going on here to get something actionable. Oh dear. 5 + 2 is 7.
So
yeah, 7 to 9.
We did a montage of you putting this together, of you getting it set. But this is all beautiful, delicate paper, and it's really well done. So the only problem that you have is that it is extremely flammable.
That surely I don't even know why you'd mention that. How would that even come up?
Let's cut back to Zenai and then you.
So I guess we're doing the new technique move, and by we I mean I.
Okay.
And I imagine it like the secret technique. We're getting that information from Zhang himself while he's drunk.
Okay.
And then I guess practice and study on ways on how to counteract that, and maybe read some stories on what the on any battles the Star Stealing Sage fought and stuff. So
okay, that seems fair to me. Let's how are you assisting with that, Sherry?
I will get the stories of the hero, Star Stealing Sage, and his amazing fighting style from his son, who's terrified of him, and all of the people who idolize him in Ox Pilgrim. I and my plum wine will do this thing.
Okay. So do you want to roll comfort and support?
Sure. I have no idea what that means, but I am going to support her in every way that I can.
Him.
Sorry. It's you. I'm going to support you, Maria. And also get you. Yes. Okay. So hold on a second. I just wanted to look at my things of what's the best. Okay. So I think it makes sense to work with again, I'm going to use control and reflection. Essentially, that's sort of reflecting back to them what they want to see. So I'm going to try that for comfort and support.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that gives me an 11 on comfort and support.
So you can they clear a condition. So you can. Do you have a condition, Maria?
No. Well, I have wounded one.
But that won't help with that. Because that requires time.
Yeah.
And medical
and we
attention.
don't have time.
So Sherry, you can clear a condition.
I would love
yourself.
to. All right.
Okay, or ask her a question, or gain a bond with her, so that potentially she could burn it for a +1.
Yeah, okay. I will take a bond because essentially you'll see her doing the stuff, and every once in a while she'll look at Danny Yu from across the room and go, when she's just gotten something. Okay.
Yes. Now I have 2 bounds of Zenai. Yay.
All right. So let's have you roll.
Okay.
Now, then you with the plus 0.
+0. Oh, isn't it also +1 because of the bond or because of the 10 plus? Or did she not pick that?
Not for that, because you aren't in a charge situation. So that's why you create the bond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is a 9.
Okay.
Can I burn the bond now?
Yeah, you can burn the bond now if you want.
Yeah, I'll burn the bond to give it to bump it up to a 10.
All I ask is that you tell me what the secret is.
Star Stealing Sage. What is the? I think it's a lot of upward motion. Hence his name, Star Stealing Sage. Like he it's basically to counteract that. I would have to expect blows from below that go upward.
Okay, so you have to kind of counter the verticality of that.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see that scene of you working to get that, working with the sword there, and you burn the bond, so she's helping you with that, using up that energy of that, and we sort of close where we see you two heading to the meeting point, Renshu heading to the meeting point with a ghost figure. We see Silver Phoenix and Magistrate Gao and his assistant heading to the meeting point, and of course the bad guys getting all their things together, all their dark clothing, all that stuff, and they are of course heading to the meeting point. So we're going to take 5. We're going to take our 5-minute break here, and we'll come back at the meeting, and I will have Renshu frame the scene. Patrick, you had played Pasiones?
Yeah, I ran it for a group of people at work, and it's so amazing. Even with the like terrible farce that it turned into, it was really fun.
We had a great moment at the end of the episode where something happened, and the player went, "Oh my God, that's so obvious! Why didn't I see that coming?"
Yes.
It was great.
But yeah, we had a twin as well. It made for some really great fun. I think a twin of El Jefe as well.
Oh, okay. It's sort of the obvious choice in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us get set then.
Okay, before we go, there was one thing I did want to do, though.
Okay.
And that was I wanted to look into those two servants and see if I could figure out what their thing was. So when we were getting ready to go, I would tell Donahue I'd be right back. And I would go and check out the household of Star Ceiling Sage and see what I can figure out about those two servants.
All right. Well, what do you want to roll with?
I don't know. Let me find all of my stuff again. Let's see here. I've been using metal for this quite a bit, and it seems to be decent for this situation. So let's try it again. Okay. That gives me a 10.
All right. So you have 2 hold. What do you want to know?
I want to know their identities is what I want to know.
So that's so you want to know the identities of each of them?
Yes.
So you will, observe them as they're going about through the day, and there'll be those moments when they do things like you. They're disguising their style. Mm-hmm. They drop things, and you will see one of them drop something, and he kind of reaches out, and you see this thread of silk go out from his hand and wrap and grab onto what he dropped and pulls back, much like you've seen Ren Shu do before.
100 ghosts. Oh
no. And you're like, yeah, and like very close to Ren Shu's style, like maybe from the same family? You're not sure. Huh. And then the other one, you will note, do something, and you will note she's also, a martial artist, but you will notice some burn marks on her. Like she keeps them covered, but she's clearly been caught in some kind of fire or something when she was younger.
Oh no.
Boy, when you really look close at her, she looks a little bit like Dan Yu.
Amazing. All right. I will. If I leave now, I will just barely catch up with them.
All right. So, Ren Shu, you chose the meeting place. So you need to tell me what it looks like. You're muted.
Hell. So we've determined that there are some mountains surrounding this area. So I think it's off in a valley in the mountains. And I have a picture here of the ridiculous Shrine of the Winds up at the top of this natural promontory, I'm sure.
Yes.
So yes, it will be out there, up at the top of that, here deep in this valley, in all sorts of weird paradoxes.
Okay. And so that we'll assume that there's a great central courtyard. There are monks here, but we don't see them on scene for some reason. Couldn't pay for the extras. There's an altar. They've got the incense sticks burning. There's lots of silk around. It's the Temple of the Winds, so there's lots of chimes and bells all around the place. It's all very
Nice.
musical, and they've got lots of silks that people can hide behind and come out of. Just as the wind carries it, it's all about that. And where are you on the scene? Since we kind of see you first, and then there'll be the arrival of the magistrate.
So in this courtyard that's surrounded by these arches and fluttering silks and chiming bells, I think she's there in the center. And this whole place has that sort of pale emerald green color scheme going on.
Okay.
She's wearing another like tight and shiny silk dress that's in that exact same color. She has ribbons of it tied in her hair that's sort of fluttering with the breeze too. And she has sheets of that pale emerald green paper that she's just sitting down at a sort of low bench, and she's folding them into like cranes and butterflies and other flying things that she then sort of releases into the wind, and they just go swirling up and around.
Nice. So Silver Phoenix, you are accompanying Magistrate Gao and his assistant there. Magistrate Gao meets with you, and he will say, "All right, I'm ready to go." And you believe that Renshu will be there?
I do.
I went to find Metal Viper to speak with him, since you said that he had tested for Renshu, but he seems to have vanished.
Vanished.
Yes. We will look at. Yes.
Yeah. Do you suspect foul play, or has he simply gone off voluntarily? Do you think?
Well, I'm a magistrate. I'm paid to suspect foul play, but we will look to him when we return from this meeting.
Yes. Very well.
And so we're gonna. There's the scene of you and them kind of coming up the mountain. Danyu, where are you on scene?
I was assuming that since the hand washing ceremony was also today, I was gonna attend that.
Would have been canceled. Would have been canceled because of the.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. In that case, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be at the Temple of the Winds.
So where are you hidden away?
I guess if maybe at one of the higher floors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly, you're on the upper floors there.
Yeah, and then looking down.
Okay. And you are kind of waiting and watching. Of course, Janai, as you said, you will arrive on scene whenever you want to pop in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, Silver Phoenix, you arrive with the magistrates. And you'll see Renshu, 3 people arrive. And Magistrate Gao goes, Renshu, Silver Phoenix has spoken for you, as did Metal Viper. You said that you have proof to your innocence?
And I had indicated there for Chang Si to come as well. Does he come?
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. I have no solid proof yet. I just have my story and my convictions, and it is up to you what you believe. There are forces at work here. There was a friend of mine, a protege, someone like myself, who I had tried to take out of the world of the 100 Ghosts, out of the world of the Wulin.
Mm-hmm.
She was not as strong as I thought she was, or the forces against me were stronger than I thought they were. She could not stand up to the pressures, and I'm afraid she folded. And I will offer forward the needle that she stabbed into Changxi, having gotten them back from Dan Yu at some point.
Su Wei comes forward and takes it because he's very wary of what's happening here. What is this, says the magistrate?
I told you of this earlier, Changxi. This was some task she was on, some mission given to her by I don't know who, to attack the inestimable Changxi here. You can smell still the alchemical poisons on it, but I see that it's passed through your system and that danger is no longer to fear. This, however, this is what was used to kill Meng. This pale imitation, this shoddy craftsmanship. You can smell the most vile and base of poisons on it, and it was stabbed into the most inelegant of places. It was an attempt to frame Dragon Nail Sage, an attempt to frame me for bringing, well, I can't say for bringing false danger into our clan. Obviously, I'm responsible for bringing someone that should not have been trusted into our clan.
She says, I don't understand why she would have done that to me. I mean, who am I? I mean, the only thing it did was I was to meet with Star Stealing Sage and share a cup with him, and I was too sick to go.
I think she's sort of like, she's taken aback by that. She like chokes up a little. I confess I don't know the convolutions of everything going on here, but
who is behind this? Says Magister Gao.
Okay. I've been examining the poisons. I want to study them. What can I tell about the people who made these poisons?
Interesting. So you will definitely tell that this is not the poison that Dragon Nail Sage would have used. It is, as she has said, as Renshu has said, any one of the 100 ghosts who had any kind of cleverness that would not have used this, because it is so obvious. And it is, a poison without any kind of delicacy or refinement.
Okay. Yes. So I basically I repeat that to the magistrate.
Huh. Well, how do you know so much about poisons, Silver Phoenix? He says, or rather, his assistant says.
Everyone has their interests.
That is not the interest of a righteous man.
It is the interest of a physician, surely. And physicians are righteous men.
Are you related to Golden Phoenix, then?
No, I merely admire him greatly, and I have many of the same skills.
I see. You admire him greatly.
As a fellow physician, I wish to see his murderer brought to justice.
Fair enough.
There's been a lot of that tonight.
Regardless, who is behind this then?
I am certain that it is the 100 Ghosts. It was they who murdered Gold Phoenix and Dragonair Sage was of the 100 Ghosts. The 100 Ghosts are involved everywhere in this affair.
Do you think so then, Ren?
I feel their fingerprints over every part of this. You asked for proof of what's going on. I said I have none. I have my word, but I don't expect you to accept it. But there is the word of people with more publicly visible honor, perhaps, than me, who might back me up. And I think this whole time she hasn't moved. She's been sitting there just like continually making these little origami things. And Dan, you from your perch, there's just this perfect moment looking down where you see all of these like cranes and butterflies and stuff. They're almost laid out in the wind in this sort of steps case coming down, staircase coming down. There we go, words. That you could like sort of gently jump down and end up right at her side. And I want to spend my bond, to do your flying daggers and sort of share my Storm Rider with you.
Okay, I will show up then.
Okay, come down this set of steps of origami papers. Lightfoot your way down, and Master Gao is Dan you.
Yes, there has.
You believe it is the 100 Ghosts as well?
It is unfortunately more complex than that. There has been some. There are two servants. Well, okay. Before I continue, did Zenai tell me about the two servants and who they were? Oh,
not who they are. No, okay. Just that there are two servants.
My sort of conception was that you could spill the stuff about Star Sealing Sage, and then maybe Zenai could come at the end to share about the servants.
Okay, and I can spend that last bond of Zenai that I had for that particular thing.
Okay. Nice. So what do you say?
I'm gonna say, unfortunately, it seems that the Star Stealing Sage himself has had dealings with the 100 Ghosts.
And Master Gao gasps, and his assistant gasps, and there's all the sort of reaction shots as suddenly the figures land, and you will see this blaze as you hear, "These lies will not go unanswered. You killed my son!" And this blaze comes out, and you will see Chang-Chi leap to block the attack on Ren, and drop to the ground. And you will see Star Stealing Sage is there. You will see that he has two servants with him, and of course, somehow he's gotten a massive mooks up. Ox Pilgrim people that have arrived and poured around here. Magistrate Gao, your services are no longer needed. I will inflict the justice that this villain so richly deserves. Senai?
I'm gonna summon Senai.
All right, and so I guess I sort of come in. I'm the only one. I use the door. and she goes, stop, the Star Stealing Sage, he's been mind controlled by two of the 100 Ghosts. We must stop them. And she points to the two servants.
All right, so we have mooks, we have Star Stealing Sage, we have two servants. You will see the magistrate's assistant goes and grabs Magistrate Gao to get him off from the midst of all this. Even the magistrate's like, wait, I don't understand what's going on, and is getting pulled off to the side. Chang-Chi is laid out on the ground. Star Stealing Sage is there, robes billowing. These two assistants, this man and this woman, are standing beside him in a form that looks very strange. Does not look like Ox Pilgrim style. And Starly Stealing Sage laughs at you, Zenai. and says, "There is no mind control."
In that case, you have washed your hands in blood. Face me!
All right, so you're going to pair up on Star Stealing Sage. Let's check in with you, Ren. What do you want to do in this scene? I want to frame up before we go to rolls here.
I'm torn. Can I hear what Silver Phoenix is going to do first?
I am going to try to save Chang-Si.
Good.
With the promise.
Okay. So he rushes over to Chang-Si, and I'll come to him in a second. What do you want to do?
I think I was also rushing over towards Chang-Si, but I see like something in Silver Phoenix's posture, something in what he pulls out that's obviously this is a man of great skill, and I look sort of brows furrowed from Chang-Si up to Star Stealing Sage.
Okay.
And there's a suspicion that comes over me, and as Danu starts to engage him, I want to try and study.
Okay. I'm going to come back and resolve that in just a second. And I want to kind of get the order right. We've got two foes of scale, one foe of a larger scale, and some mooks. What do you want to do, Zenai?
I essentially have to move towards those servants, but I'm going to do it so that essentially like I run up to them, and then she's clearly going to stop. Like all of a sudden she realizes that she's done too much and she's out of her scale.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have you engage at least one of those servants. So let's start with describe how that you save Silver Phoenix, how you save Chang-Si.
Let's see. No, how exactly was Chang-Si struck down again?
So he was struck, and when you go over and look at him, you'll realize that he has been struck by poison needles.
Okay, I have some rare herbs that I always carry with me. I am going to apply those to the wound, and I am going to place my hands on Chang-Si. I am going to touch the various pressure points and send my own chi into him to try to restore life into his body.
All right, let's. What do you want to roll with?
I will roll with Earth because this is stability.
That makes sense.
So that is a 12.
Oh, nice. So you've just seen this poison. You had a sample handed to you just a second ago. Yeah. So you are able to get that out and put your hands and pull that out. Use the rare herbs, and there'll be this gasp from Chang-Si as you balance the humors in him, and he is not dead. And we cut from that to the glance that Ren Shu has made, because of course watching to see what happens there, and then you look at a Star Stealing Sage. You want to study?
Yes, I would like to, and I think this is going to be water for awareness and wisdom.
All right.
Because as he cries out loudly that he's not mind controlled, 6 + 2 is 8.
8. So you get 1 hold.
I am going to reveal a detail as I realize that he was never meaning to attack me in that blow. He was going after Chang-Si the whole time. He knew exactly what Chang-Si would do, because I see now this power dynamic that I'd missed in the upper ranks of the Ox Pilgrims, that Star Stealing Sage is older, more traditional, and had sort of been escorted to his washing of the hands ceremony. But if he can remove the other upper leadership and save his clan from an infestation from the assassin cult, then he can retain his position, retain his power. for as long as he likes.
I will say, and he's gone to desperate measures to keep them out by enlisting members of the 100 Ghosts to assist him.
Get rid of the 100 Ghosts. That's perfect.
All right.
So yeah, what I'd like to do after some more of the action goes forward is to in the middle of this have that ghost puppet come in and confront him with exactly those accusations.
Okay. So what I think actually I'm going to need you to do when this happens is there is one of these two foes of scale that is not occupied, and this figure comes flying at you, silk ripping out as you see your brother tear away his mask and strike at you.
Oh,
I
shit.
need you to roll overcome.
No one saw that coming.
Or actually, no, take a powerful blow, actually, is what you need to roll.
Oh, take a powerful blow? Okay. Yeah, nice. I wasn't even paying attention to them on purpose. Roll plus conditions marked. Interesting. I have 2 conditions marked. Oh, that's a 10. I have a sense that may not be a good thing.
Okay. You must remove yourself from the situation, give your adversary everything they want, or 2 options from the 7 to 9 list.
Ooh, interesting. And my adversary here in this moment would be
Your brother.
Yeah. I'm going to remind myself of his name. It's Lin.
Obsidian Heart.
Yes. Now that's not his name. His name is Lin Shu.
The one who you've sworn not to harm.
Yes. I'll do 2 from the 7 to 9.
Okay.
I give ground as I'm unwilling to fight back against him in any meaningful way, and I'm just super thrown by the whole situation. But yes, I give ground. Your opposition gains something that they want.
Okay.
And I struggle past the pain and will mark 2 conditions.
Ooh, holy cow. And what he wants is to humiliate you. And he does that your paper comes up to block, and the silk rolls and it tears it apart. It just tears through your paper defenses and throws you back against the one of the pillars here. And he goes, "See, I am better than you," and comes in for the kill. Zanai.
Yes. So I've come skidding to a halt. At least that's what it looks like. But essentially, I sort of run into a pillar there. And strangely, you don't really see it, but something kind of hits that wind chime right above the other girl, the Min, I think. And this huge wind chime falls on top of her head. That is my attack.
So you are fighting.
I'm engaging with her, yes.
You are fighting a foe on your scale.
Okay. So I just make a roll, right?
Yep.
And something awesome is going to
Style
happen.
element.
Okay, so. This is where it all goes to heck. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
What'd you get?
Oh, sir, I got a 4. I rolled 2 1s after a string of 10 pluses.
Then you will see her move and intercepts you and stabs at your chi points there and drops you to the ground. And her mask gives way. And she is standing above you to finish you off. So let's come over to Danyu. You go to engage the star-stealing sage.
Yes.
And then you see out of the corner of your eye, Zanai go down, crashes to the ground, and you see your sister, that face you know, about to kill Zanai.
I will. I guess it's going to be inner conflict before I do anything else.
I think that's probably a good call.
All right. Inner conflict with. I'm gonna roll with metal, even though it's probably gonna be a terrible idea because that's my fighting stat.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a 9.
So you've got a choice. You can flee the scene, essentially, or mark a condition, which would be metal.
Which means I pretty much have to
burn a bond, right?
Yeah, but I don't have any bonds left, unless it's with the blade dogs.
You could. I mean, the blade dogs. You could give me. I mean, you thought the blade dogs killed your sister, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna burn my bond with the blade dogs to be like, okay, they did not kill my sister, so I'm gonna bump that up to a 10.
Perfect. You keep yourself together. So, what do you want to do? Zanai is about to be killed. A star sailing sage is facing you.
I will.
Your sister's there.
I will call my sister out on this. Let me give her a name.
Okay.
To hopefully throw her off balance herself, and while I engage the star stealing sage.
Okay. So you want to try to do hearts and minds on her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me pick a name.
What? I have her.
Seishan. And I will roll hearts with and minds with, I guess, Earth.
Okay.
Oh no, that's a 5.
So you call her out. No, stop! And you shout out her name, and she turns to you and she goes, "That is not my name. I am the shark-fingered princess." And she leaps at you and hits you. I'm going to need you to mark a condition and roll to take a powerful blow as she knocks you back.
All right. I will. That's one condition.
Yeah. And you rolled with Earth, so you would mark that, right?
Yeah, and I rolled an 8.
Okay.
And
an 8. So what do you want from the 7 to 9 list?
So I don't want to give ground because if I mark conditions, do you choose them or do I choose them?
You get to choose them.
Okay, I'll struggle past the pain. So
okay.
I will mark water because, or no, I will mark wood because it's like, and fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you still have your fighting stat, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she hits you, Marsh. She is up in your face. You at least got her away from killing Zanai, but now you're going to have to deal with her before you can do anything else. Let me cut over to Silver Phoenix. Silver Phoenix, the situation has changed. It looks like one of these servants is going to kill Renshu. Another one is fighting with Danyu. The Star Stealing Sage is no one is engaged with him, but Zanai is down on the ground. What do you want to do, Silver Phoenix?
I'm going to protect Renshu, I guess. I'm going to engage Dinshu.
Okay.
I will interpose myself between them.
All right. Are you more interested in protecting her or fighting this figure?
I'm more interested in protecting her, but if I get an opening, I'll take it.
Okay, then I'm going to have you roll comfort or support.
Okay.
And I'll actually let you. I think this is appropriate for a chance to clear a condition in this, just because we're kind of in a cool situation where that would pay off. So what are you going to roll with? I hope we didn't lose Stephen at this point.
Oh no. What a remarkably dramatic time for that to happen.
Believe me, that it always happens. If you're about to make a crucial roll, that's when you drop off the map. We'll give him just a second. He's on a hotel Wi-Fi. There we go.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I cut out for a
absolutely.
bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's cool. What do you want to roll comfort and support with?
I will roll with wood. And can you give me the link again? I lost the roll for the party window.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Let me grab that. Copy, drop it, paste. There you go.
Okay, so that's a 7.
Okay, so I'm going to say that you will be able to clear a condition on Renshu.
Okay.
But I think you're going to have to roll take a powerful blow.
All right.
Essentially.
So I've got...
Yeah.
Right. So that is a 9.
Okay.
Okay, I think I give ground.
Okay. So you take the hit, but he throws you off to the side. So essentially he wanted to get you out of the way, but at least you gave her the break to catch her breath. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay, kind of knocked to the side by the hit. Essentially, as he creates these blades out of silk and strikes you with those and knocks you back. Renshu.
I'm gonna take that opportunity to heal my water because you never know when you might need to stab a bitch.
Okay.
So then I stand up from where I've been thrown to the ground. I see my brother hit Silver Phoenix there, and I say, I have sworn not to hurt you, but that doesn't mean I won't shred your evil plans like the paper dragons that they are. And I think that's the moment where down again from this sort of like cloud of swirling origami flying things comes stepping down this glowing spectral figure of Ming stealing sage, who never learned his last name. As he comes down, I think there's probably this hush that goes over everyone, and his finger points down at his father, saying, "You would sacrifice me, your beloved son, on the altar of your own ambition. You would bring the 100 ghosts into our clan, infecting the righteousness of the Ox Bureau, just so that you could grasp onto power for a few short years longer. You evil, unrighteous being, you should be cast out." As it comes down.
Perfect. Roll to impress.
Ooh. I think this is going to be fire for the creativity, speed, and passion.
Okay.
Okay.
Because you're affecting a group, so that's why I think it's impressed rather than hearts and minds.
That's a 2, 4, 6.
Do you have a bond to burn?
I have a bond with Changxi.
Can burn that.
I will do that thing.
So you get to pick 2, and you can pick them twice. Create a bond, gain a favor, clear a condition. And I will say you can do the clear condition on yourself or someone else.
Who are these mooks? Are they? Do I recognize them?
They're the Ox program servants of Star Stealing Sage. If you want to spend one of your picks, they will flee from the ghost.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
They see the ghost of the master's son, and they're in a temple, and they run for the hills.
And
I would suggest clear Senai's fire.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
So we can at least fight on somewhat even ground.
So yeah, this creates a window more than anything. Some time for Janai to sort of get her feet under her. And I think as she's looking up, she sees all these mooks flee. She sees this horror in Changxi's face as he's struggling against the blackness of unconsciousness. And I think she sees sort of this emotional tide turning, and it gives her the strength to re-enter the fray, hopefully.
Perfect. And it's there. It's just the mooks run. This ghost thing comes down, and then there's this moment where you see like the candle inside just tip just a little too far, and the ghost goes up in flames, just whoosh. Catches
that makes
fire.
it even more horrifying.
It adds the effect, but you won't be able to use it again.
And is that sort of the bargain there?
That's the bargain. Is that
Cool.
fair?
Yeah, I like that. That's really funny.
Zanai.
Okay, so in that moment when everyone's attention is drawn to that ghost, this is my time to, how should we say?
Become the Silkfoot Fox?
Well, oh, no, that actually doesn't help at all. I think that though that's awesome. I think that essentially she has to stay on the edge here. I have to tip the balance. The 100 ghosts are acting of their own volition.
So you see that one of them is engaged, kind of has locked, the sister has locked up Denyu. The other one is in Renshu's face.
Okay. So I think, and where is Magister Gao? Where is his attention at?
Well, the ghost. They're like, what's going on with this ghost?
Well,
Okay.
I thought Suwei took him out of the like.
Oh, he's at the edge of the scene, of course, watching all this, so I can put him in danger again.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think that what I need to do is draw their attention back to the horribleness of the 100 ghosts here that are attacking Winshu. So essentially, I want to, like everyone's looking up at the ghost that's there. There are some other lamps. So essentially, I am going to take this moment to essentially speed run up to the rafters. Okay. And essentially run across them and drop one of the lamps down, like on or right by Renshu's brother, if that makes any sense. So no one sees me. I'm up there in the rafters now where it's all dark.
Okay.
So that's my theory.
So this foe is your scale.
Okay.
Okay. So you can do that.
Okay. Let's see if we can do this. Dice. 10.
You win the conflict. Are you trying to kill him?
No, I am trying to. I essentially want to drop that. What do you say? That lamp on top of him. I want to bind him and maybe, just maybe, catch some of his silks on fire.
All right. So you don't finish this opponent off. So you get to mark XP as you kind of drop him, and he's caught in that, and he's dealing with it.
Okay.
This is your sister, Danu. She's in your face. You have to deal with her.
Okay, I will engage my sister.
Okay. You've already fought past the emotional. She is your scale.
Oh wow. All right. That is a 8.
That is an 8. Okay. So look at the choices on the 7 and 9 there.
Mm-hmm. I will deadlock.
Okay. What do you want to reveal, or I think my camera just locked.
Why is she with the 100 ghosts? I do not know. Do you have any idea of that? Because
yeah. So you will read that. You can see in her eyes that the can almost read that history, that flashback of her, the fires burning and one of these 100 ghost figures dropping down and scooping her up and flying off with her and treating her burns and then raising her, teaching her, telling her about, how it was the Ox Pilgrim Escort Society who burned your village to the ground, and you'll have a chance to get revenge on them, and all of that. That is what she has been taught. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, that seems fair.
Okay, and you kind of locked up. What does that look like there?
She fights with her needle claws. So I think she's blocking my sword with the claws.
Okay.
And you can see the sword that was actually made by our brother. The sparks just flying out everywhere because this is still a badly made sword.
Awesome. So yeah, she's you see her kind of focus in, like she knows the sword, but she doesn't care, and she's kind of starting to bend it like it might snap, like it give way here. So she's got you locked up. Let me see here. We've still got Star Stealing Sage out here and out in the open. Silver Phoenix.
I think I'm going to. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, here's what's going to happen. As you kind of get knocked back towards where Chang-Chi is, I think I'm getting a little bit of delay here. Can you guys?
I can hear you, Lo.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So what you will, I'm going to actually turn my bandwidth down just a hair. So, okay. What you will see is Star Stealing Sage is clearly moves not to deal with any of them, but to looks like he's going to try and kill Chang-Chi.
Okay, so I'm going to move to intercept. I'm going to try to at least delay Star Stealing Sage.
Okay. So that seems to me like an overcome.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I guess this will be an Earth move.
Sure.
That's a 12.
Oh yeah. So he comes in to strike, and essentially he's going to do that final strike on Chang-Chi. Describe to me what happens. How do you turn that aside?
I mean, I block it. I block the blow with my staff, and I'm sort of staggered by the sheer force of it. But then I keep my footing, and I move and I shift my footing so that I'm between him and Changxi, and I am just fighting defensively at this point.
Okay.
I know he's better than me, but
Yeah, he's doing those blows that's hitting your staff, and your staff is ringing as he strikes them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even trying to strike back at him. I'm just trying to stay alive, and
he will say, "We took care of one Phoenix. We can take care of you as well."
If Gold Phoenix gave his life for another, I can do no less.
And you will. Renshu.
So yeah, I think in all of this, like, I've managed to slip around past my brother, and I see this confrontation over Changxi's form. And I come running forward just as this like flaming ghost puppet comes to the ground. I burst right through the center of it in the shower of like flame and sparks and paper and bamboo. I come flying across him with this chain of paper flying out from my sleeve, catching in the fire as the edges of it lick up in fire, and I swing it around over my head, coming in at Star Sealing Sage, saying, "You villain! Even now the Ox Pilgrims spread the words of your murdered son's ghost. Everyone will know what you are. Will you follow your naked ambition into damnation and hellfire for the entire Ox Pilgrim society? Will you not resist, or will you not yield?" As I come in and just strike him as hard as I can with this flaming whip, trying to bind him up or injure him or something. And I, Patrick, know that it's futile, but Renshu is filled with anger and passion.
All right. This foe is above your scale. Let's have you roll.
Plus, I want to put on a good show for the Magister.
Absolutely.
So that's water still, right?
Yeah, that's your style element.
Oof, that is a 10.
You get to declare what happens. I don't get to like make you take a powerful blow. He's thrown away, but describe to me what happens. How does he stop this, and how do you land?
I think it's actually he's so powerful that as this whip comes in, it wraps around his forearm, and as I smile and give the pull back to sort of throw him off balance and go into the next move, instead the flames along it just dash out. His hand reaches down. You get a close-up shot of him actually grabbing the whip and yanking me. He sort of does a flipping kick as I'm passing over him to kick me up in the air, and I think I land in a tangle on top of Lynn, Obsidian Heart.
Okay. Yeah, come crashing down. I'm going to cut to Zanai as you see that happen.
Yeah, and I see all that fire around, and it gives me an idea. And I grab up my plum wine, and I run over, and I dump it on Star Sealing Sage. That's all I'm doing. I'm doing a setup.
Okay. What do we want to call that? I think you can do this as a support action here in a second. So let's hold off on that.
Okay.
Does that seem reasonable? Until somebody engages.
All right.
Okay. Dan, you.
And I'll tell my sister. So if you want to bring the Ox Pilgrim Society down, you would join the Star Sealing Sage.
He is given over to us. There are things you will not know. We have the book he seeks.
Book.
And she's still fighting you. What do you want to do?
I will. Do I notice the plum wine on Star Sealing Sage?
Yeah, I would say that you can see that Star Sailing Sage is there. That some of his attention is occupied by this fire. He's just dealt with Renshu. Silver Phoenix is defending Changxi.
I will attempt to persuade my sister to not engage with me right now by saying, or how do I? I'm not sure.
You could, if you wanted to, you can try and attack Sage. You'll take a powerful blow from her.
Yeah, I will go and engage with Sage.
First, you have to roll take a powerful blow because she is going to strike you as you pull away.
Does wounded count as a
Yes,
as
it
a
does.
condition? Okay, so that should have been. That is a 8.
Okay, so you get to choose one from the 7 to 9 list.
All right, 7 to 9. I will give ground, since that is the only thing I can really do if I want to continue.
She breaks the sword.
All right.
Snaps it in your hands. That's what you wanted. And you leap away. And now, if you wish, you may roll to strike the sage.
I will take up Changxi's sword. I will grab his sword from his hilt and I will engage.
Okay. You've got these warriors around helping you out. You've studied his style.
And I have a better sword. I don't know if that counts for anything.
No.
Okay.
But Sherry's going to roll her comfort and support.
All right.
With the fire, and you're going to attempt to strike down the sage here.
Yes.
Let's do the comfort and support first, Sherry. You're muted.
That's a 7 because I'm going to burn my bond with Denyu and then spend and I used water. So
if things go terribly wrong, you're going to suffer the consequences as well. And now
that only makes sense.
Denyu, your desperate attempt to bring down the sage.
So that's a +1, right?
Yep.
Plus my style, which is that is a 14.
Tell me, are you going to show mercy?
This is an unrighteous man. He deserves no mercy.
Then what happens? Describe to me. The plumb blind fire goes in there. Silver Phoenix is pushing him back. I assume that Renshu is coming back up to attack again. How do you kill this guy?
I engage. I know his style. I've been training the entire day because apparently you can learn an entire style by training a day. So
montage.
Yes. And basically flash back to those montages and shit, and flash back to the forging of the sword that just broke, and flash back to pretty much everything that has happened so far. And I repeat what I said in the beginning. You have washed your hands in blood. Leave this realm for once and never return.
And where do you hit him?
I strike him in the heart, of course.
Come up. He goes to do that starts to that essentially the meteor drop blow to come down, but you're ready for it, and you'll bring it up through him.
Yes.
And this isn't your style. He knows your style, but and that his eyes will go wide there as he slides down the sword. He will expire. Over his shoulder, you see your sister vanishing into the night as she vanishes out there. But Magistrate Gao is coming running up to see what's going on. You will see right now that let me get his name. Su Wei comes up and pulls you away from the fight. Zenai.
Okay.
Says, no,
Okay.
no, be careful. Be so careful. This is outside your scale.
She's like,
Oh, by the way,
it's like she's going, I'm so confused. What's been happening there?
Pushes it away. I'm going to come back to you in a second, Maria. Let me get Silver Phoenix's reaction.
I am going to try to save his life.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, let's have you roll for that.
Okay.
what stat are you rolling? Or do you have any? Oh, you're fine. Steven?
I think we lost him again. Of course.
Of course.
We'll give him just a. I'm going to come back to that in a second. I'm going to put a pin in that. When Stephen comes back, I'll narrate what's going on with that. Renshu, you'll see the sister take off into the distance. You'll see that Star Sealing Sage is there. The magistrates are there. What do you do?
Wait, who were you talking to? Sorry.
Renshu.
Yeah. What is my brother doing? And Steven's back.
Your brother is going to try and escape. Do you want to let him escape?
Can I do an inner conflict to see which of my nature sort of wins out here?
Absolutely. That's fair if you want to go to that.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Steven.
I dropped out just as I made the roll.
Okay. I'm gonna put a pin in that. I'm gonna finish his thing, and then I'm gonna come back to you and ask you a couple questions about that.
Okay.
So it looked like his roll was a 7. I'm assuming best stat would be +2. That puts him at a 9. So my better angels would be to see him showing mercy and compassion and go over to help him.
Okay.
I think the worst outcome would be trying to engage my brother and seeing how that goes. So I will roll with a stat. That stat is going to be... no, because I still want to have the ability to fight him. So fire. It's seeing where my passion lies right now.
Okay.
Oh, that's a 5.
That's a 5. So you're gonna have to mark a condition here.
Yep, and that would be my fire, putting me reckless and unfocused, and I don't even notice that I could try and help out with his efforts there, that I could try and better my soul by taking the nonviolent path, and instead I chase my brother.
Okay. And I think just for the sake of drama, you're not going to catch him right now, but you will realize that you turned your back on aiding in order to pursue vengeance, despite what your mother asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's come back to you, Silver Phoenix. You're going to save him. You rolled a 9, right?
Right.
So you will save him. You'll be able to stop, keep his life stabilized. But you're going to have to tend to his wounds for a while. You're going to have to stay with him to keep him alive. I think that's going to be the cost. Does that seem reasonable?
Okay. That's fine.
And Magistrate Gao will say, "It is good you did this. We can bring him to justice now. Not the simple justice of the sword, but to expose all of his crimes."
His servant mentioned the book that he was seeking and that the Hungry Ghost had it.
We will have to look into this and find out what it is. If he was seeking something, if he was willing to go to the 100 Ghosts to find it, then it must be something powerful and dangerous. And the magistrate will say, "Renshu, you have..." Oh, where did she go?
I will.
There's just sort of a flutter of paper to the ground over in the corner of the.
I guess I'm going to pursue Renshu.
Okay.
Because that is the thing I tend to do.
So I think that the last scene we see in this is you heading out after Renshu. You'll probably find her at the point at which her brother has escaped out of her grasp. Still anger on her face.
Yes.
What do you say to her?
Renshu, forgive me.
I think, like, as you touch her and say that, the stiffness in her spine just sort of melts. The anger on her face breaks, and she turns to you. She embraces you, and you can feel her sort of sobbing into your neck there. And she says, "No, forgive me. I brought shame to our clan, and I could not help you with your sister when she was here. I don't know how I can ever redeem myself in your eyes."
You already have.
Nice. So that's a great end scene for you two. What's the last bit we see of Silver Phoenix here on the scene? What's the last we see there?
I think we finally get the sage stabilized, and we bring him back to town, and I shake Magistrate Gao's hand, and I say that he is a good man, and he may always call on me in times of need.
I may do that. I appreciate you bringing all of this to my attention. If my assistant were here, I'm sure he would say the same. And then what's the last we see, last shot we see of you in this scene, Zenai?
Well, I've had a lovely walk back to the inn with the most handsome Sue. I'm just terribly upset and everything, and he's so kind to me. And then as soon as I get in the door, I close it. And then I climb out the window on my way to my silken fox.
Absolutely, silken fox. Though I do think you see then Sue heading out as you're getting ready to go onto your mission, and you see him there, and you see him run into his sister, Undefeated Horizon. All right. So let's do the XP stuff, if you guys don't mind. I think we're done. Stephen, thank you for coming and sitting in on this. I hope that was okay.
Yes, I'm just sorry that my connection was so bad.
You know,
it was a lot of fun.
You didn't. Robot
Silver Phoenix was great.
Yeah, great character. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's look through the advancement. Entanglements. Let's start. Stephen, I just want to do this just for the purposes of walking through it, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So what we do is we look at your entanglements. Did you hit your entanglement that you highlighted with Silkfoot Fox?
Right. Well, there was the stuff with two-way. So yeah, I hit that. He was very suspicious of me.
So you would get 3 XP for that.
Right.
I don't think we hit your Shu Ling.
No, that didn't come up at all.
Okay.
But we did hit the one with my suspecting Renshu of evil, and in fact, we actually erased that.
Yeah. And so we would change that the next session probably, and you would get to mark an XP for that. So you have it would be a 4th one.
And also for showing up, right?
Oh yeah, there's 1 point for the session. I keep meaning to add that, and I forget it.
Right. Okay. So 5 out of 5 out of 8. Yeah.
Danyu Zhao.
I think I hit. I suspect Renshu of evil, but Shang-Chi believes in her. Yes, that is completely resolved.
Yep.
So that's erased, or whatever. I swore to Fenai, the one that I highlighted. Yes, that was a thing.
Okay, so that's 4 points.
And I love Zenai, but the guy engaged to Kaijin that was hit on in the
There was
very little.
I actually give you a point because that was that great exchange where you talked about the her last name and stuff. That was very nice. That bit.
Well, that was Renshu who talked about her last name.
Oh, but I thought you were in on that.
I was trying to like say no, don't say that thing. So yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
So that means I level up again, which doesn't really matter, but whatever.
But that was nice. Renshu, what about you?
So my highlighted one, I think definitely came up with Danyu's sister, and I would have questioned it until the end, but I really liked that last little exchange between Renshu and Danyu. That was very nice.
Mm-hmm. Your brother.
Yeah, my family thing definitely came up. And again, that opening scene and some of the stuff with needling Genai about her relationships and affections, I think that came up.
Absolutely. That seems fair. So that's 5 plus 1. 6.
Yep.
And Sherry, Zenai?
Let's see here. Definitely hit this Sue thing. So lots of magistrate and an opportunity for Silkfoot Fox then.
Yes.
Let's see. The Vile Rain suspects Renshu. Metal Viper. I don't think I got to interact with them, though I heard bad news but I didn't hear bad news. So anyway, that's complicated. That'll be a follow-up for next time. And then my family, and then of course Kaijin isn't here. So though I got to see that now Undiscovered Horizon.
I think there was a great bit there, though. I'll give you a point because that sort of exchange about it that you had.
Yeah, where I'm going, no. Okay, yeah. All right. I will take it. Thank you.
So that's 5 points.
Okay.
And I would have taken Trail of the Everlasting Hero if I was here for the next session.
And what does that one do?
When you hunt someone, roll on a hit, you know exactly where to find it and can track them until you do so.
Nice.
Until you do. On a 10+, they're not alerted and take +1 for fighting against them. On a miss, someone unpleasant finds you first.
Nice. Thank you guys very much. We're at the end of time for the session since we end at a quarter till. Stephen, again, thank you for coming in and
thank you so much, Lowell, for allowing me. And this was a blast.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I hope you run it again at Origins.
Oh yeah, I think I'm actually going to take this. This is going to be one of the 2 I take to Origins in some form because.
Okay, well in that case, Silver Phoenix will return.
Okay, awesome.
He's a great character, Stephen. Thank you for bringing her.
Yeah, yes,
her.
Definitely.
Amazing. Yes.
Him, her, yes. And Maria, thank you for playing Danyu Zhao since you're not going to be with us.
I'm gonna miss Danyu.
Oh my god.
That was
I wish
great.
I was gonna be
awesome.
in the last session, but I have Dreamation this weekend.
Yeah. Well, that'll be awesome. So
yes.
thank you. I love the story. I love that we got to have it complete. Patrick, thank you for highlighting that and kind of pointing at me to do that. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. It was nice.
Yeah. All right then. Well, everybody, thanks. Have a great week. I'll see some of you next week. Maria, have a great time at Dream Nation. Stephen, have a great time on the cruise, and I will stop the broadcast.
Okay.
Thank you.